is a life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by, doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart moves slow, somewhere in the great unknown. When I return from the afterglow, will you carry me like I can hold? Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I've been. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone. Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone.
Well, you can probably barely see the teeny tiny poppy seeds that I just sowed on top of the snow, but I am hoping that they give me a beautiful show come late spring into early summer, right along this border here, along our patio, where we have our crepe myrtle and some hydrangeas, some Russian sage. I hope to plant some zinnias in here, and maybe some ageratum. Lots of fun things that I have in mind for this space. I am gonna order another couple packs of those beautiful red poppies and fill out the edge of this border a little bit more. And we also have a bunch of daffodils in here that are actually starting to pop up. That is exciting. I am ready for spring and all of the flowers. I appreciate and am enjoying the snow, especially since we haven't had any for the past year. Last year we had none. So this is very beautiful, but I'm good now. I can move on, it can all melt, and I'm just ready for my flowers. Well, it is a couple days after I winter sowed the poppies in the snow. It was a little too cold that day to continue with my video. My hands were freezing, so I decided to push it off a couple of days when it was going to be a little bit warmer, and today it definitely is warmer, but now it's drizzling, so I may not be able to complete this whole video outside. I might have to go inside. But I also wanted to say just thank you for sticking with me as I took that month-long break in January. It was much needed and very much enjoyed. I was able to just really focus on my family and our home. Some milestones happened. I took my oldest son Mason to get his driver's license, so we now have a third driver in the house, which is so nice. We celebrated my daughter Sadie's 13th birthday and had a little party for her, and we were able to paint her room, give her kind of a teenage room makeover. My son Carson got his braces off, which was another big milestone. My oldest son Mason also had his wisdom teeth out, which was not so fun, but he's doing good. And we were able to celebrate my in-laws' 50th wedding anniversary out in Pittsburgh, which was really nice to just be there for that. And my birthday was also in January, as well as my husband Greg's. I'm January 18th and he is the 16th, so we almost share a birthday, which is kind of funny because I also have a twin brother, so the three of us just share a birthday now, so that was fun. But lots of good things happened in January, and I also was dreaming of spring and summer and did some seed shopping online. I have bought some seed packets that I want to share with you what I got and just some of the things that I plan on growing for the upcoming 2024 spring and summer season, which I am so excited about and ready for. And I know that these won't be everything that I probably end up collecting. I'll probably go into the stores and see things that I want as well, but these are just some of the things that I have picked up in the month of January. So it's drizzling even harder now, so I think I'm gonna have to move inside. So I'm gonna continue this inside. Okay, I am inside. It's a little drier. The lighting is not the best, but it's not terrible, I guess, either. I hope you can hear me okay. I am getting a microphone in a couple of days, which I'm excited about. I know that sometimes my sound quality is not the best on my videos, so I'm excited to start using an actual microphone. But as I was saying, I did a little bit of seed shopping in the month of January. And by the way, yes, I do still have up my Christmas tree in the dining room. I just think it looks pretty still for the winter months. It's my dried flower tree and I'm enjoying looking at it. So you can enjoy it behind me. But the first seed that I wanted to talk about was the Ladybird Poppy that I sowed in the snow. That is the first time that I've ever done that. I've seen a bunch of people do that on YouTube. Erin, the impatient gardener, has showed herself doing that. So I really wanted to try it. And I also stumbled across this channel called, make sure I get it right. I have my computer right in front of me for some notes, but it's called Apple Pea Fern C. That's the name of it, YouTube channel. And it's a beautiful channel. The gardens that they show that they have are absolutely gorgeous. And in some of the videos, they were talking about these Ladybird Poppies. And I just thought that they looked so pretty. They are this bright lipstick red poppy that come out probably late spring into early summer. And I haven't had a whole lot of success with poppies in years before. I think because I just didn't know what I was doing. In my old house, I bought some poppies from one of the local greenhouses that were already grown, and I tried putting them in one of my flower beds and they very quickly died on me. And I didn't know why. But I think the reason was because they don't love their roots being disturbed. They generally like to just kind of be sown directly into the soil and left as is. So I think that because I was transplanting them from the nursery pot to the soil, they just didn't like it. And I have heard people do have success with like winter sowing methods with the poppies, but I just decided to try sowing them directly on the snow and just see what happens. So I don't have any of you ever tried that before, directly sowing poppies in the snow? I would love to hear what your results were with that. But this poppy is just supposed to be a really neat and tidy poppy, getting to be about 1 to 1.5 feet tall. So it's really good for like the edge of the border. It's not going to get too tall and straggly. I think that as I showed you, I'm going to put it kind of on the front there, right by the patio. I'm going to sprinkle more seeds. I plan to order a couple more packets and hopefully have this little border of red poppies there in front of my crepe myrtle tree, and then put some zinnias and some other things back behind them that will flower maybe more into the midsummer. I think these poppies usually only bloom for like 3 to 4 weeks. So by the time they're done blooming, hopefully the zinnias and all the other things will be coming up. So I'm excited to see how these do. It's kind of an experiment for me. The next seeds that I want to show you are these Magellan mixed zinnia seeds. I got these from Park Seed. The last poppies were from Baker Creek Seed. I don't think I said that, but the Park Seed does not come in any fancy packaging unlike the Baker Creek seeds. You can go to their website and get all the information and pictures from there. I got these zinnias because they are a dwarf compact zinnia that stays around a foot tall, but they still get those really big, beautiful blooms, kind of like the Benary's giant zinnia. They can get 4 to 5 inches across, and just generally stay neater and tidier than some of the taller zinnias. So they're really great for the edge of the border, somewhere where you don't want your flowers flopping over into the lawn. I think that I might try these out by my mailbox where I planted 2 boxwoods. I might change my mind, but that's my initial thought on these. I just want to really trial them for future years to kind of tuck into those places where I don't want something really tall. And I did hear that they might be a little more disease resistant than some of the other zinnias. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to try them out this year and we'll see how they do. The next seeds that I'm going to show you probably won't surprise you if you followed me this past year in my garden. These are the raspberry ripple zinnias. I picked up a couple of packs from one of my local stores, The Mill, last year actually. I saw 2 on the rack and I was sure to just grab them off the rack because I loved them so much. And then I have 3 packs that I got from Park Seed as well. These were such a fantastic performer in my garden, probably one of the best performers. They were completely resistant to mildew, diseases. The rabbits did not touch them at all, which was a big battle. If you followed me again, you know my battle with rabbits in my garden. They stay compact, about 16 to 20 inches tall, and they have the most beautiful variegated pink petals that change all throughout the season from almost more of a white to a really bright pink, almost like a candy cane striping on the petals. They're so, so beautiful and just bloomed profusely. It took a little bit for them to get going, but once they got going, probably late June, I want to say, they just bloomed nonstop and I never deadheaded them. They looked great all season without any deadheading. And like I said, completely rabbit resistant. They withstood drought. We had some pretty bad drought last year. They withstand all the heat and humidity really well. So definitely a winner for sure. If you want to pick up some raspberry ripple zinnias, I would say definitely go for it. This is another one that I grew in my garden last year. This is the Bunnies Giant Mixed Zinnia that I picked up from Johnny's Seeds. These are a beautiful zinnia. They are a little bit on the taller side, about 40 to 50 inches tall. Yes, that's correct. And they get those beautiful big dahlia-like blooms up to 6 inches across. So definitely a standout in a vase mixed in with some of the smaller zinnias. They look really pretty. They were so-so at holding up to disease, to the powdery mildew. They definitely succumbed at the end of the season. I think that they perform a little bit better than some of the varieties. Another year I had the Cut and Come Again variety, and that one did not hold up well at all for me. It very quickly got the powdery mildew. So the Bunnies Giant was definitely a better performer in that realm. Another zinnia that I bought was this Oklahoma Mix Zinnia. I have never tried this one. This is a new one for me, but it's been around for a long time. I got it because it is supposed to be more resistant to disease. Anything that I can try that is resistant to disease and resistant to rabbits, I'm definitely up for. So I thought that I would try this new variety to me and see how they do in my garden. These stay a little bit on the shorter side than the Bunnies Giant Mix. They get about 30 to 40 inches tall, and the blooms on them are definitely smaller. They can be anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches across. So that could be a little bit of a downside, but I do have the Bunnies Giant that I'm also planning to grow to mix in with them. And I think having that variety of blooms, especially in a vase, looks really nice. I like that variegated sizes. So I am looking forward to seeing how these do and perform in the heat of the summer and hopefully extend out a little bit longer without any mildew. That would be awesome. Another zinnia that I got on a whim when I was, I think, at Home Depot is this Early Bird Zinnia. I never saw this before and I'm not really sure. It says that it blooms in 35 days.
so I guess that's a little bit quicker than some of the other zinnias. I don't have a ton of information on it. It gets around 20 to 25 inches tall, and I don't really know how big the bloom size is. I think it's probably a smaller bloom, but I just thought that it would be fun to experiment with and see if I can get the blooms any earlier than the others. Moving on from zinnias to sunflowers. Sadie, my daughter, wanted to pick out a flower to grow this year. So I had her look on the Johnny's Seeds website, and she wanted something red. She really likes red. So she found the Procut red sunflower, which I have not grown before. Last year I grew the gold light and I think it was the white light, and they were both really, really pretty. The rabbits did try to devour them, so I didn't grow as many as I would have liked to, but I thought that these would be really fun to try. These are a single stem sunflower. All the Procut series are single stems, which makes them really good for cutting. They have really long, strong, sturdy stems, and all of the Procut sunflowers are pollenless. So when you bring them inside, they're not dropping their pollen everywhere or causing allergies or any of those things. So they are ideal for cutting, and their height is about 60 to 72 inches tall. So they're kind of a mid height. And I plan to grow them over in my obelisk bed where I grew my sunflowers last year, kind of in the middle. I have some others that are supposed to get a little bit taller. So these will kind of be that mid-level height. The other sunflower, I got 3 kinds of sunflowers to try this year. And I also have seeds last year from my white lights. So I will probably try those again as well. But these are the Desert Sun sunflowers. Again, Johnny's does not put any pictures on their packages, but you can go to their website to see all of the pictures, and I'm throwing some up on the screen as well. These are a new variety that I haven't tried before. These are a branching sunflower, unlike the Procut sunflowers. So each individual branch has multiple flowers stemming from it. So you might get 10 to 20 flowers from one branch. I wanted to grow some branching varieties because the single stem sunflowers only produce that one sunflower and then they're done. So you kind of constantly have to be starting seeds and transplanting those plants into the ground all summer long if you want a consecutive bloom of sunflowers in your beds. These bloom a little bit longer than the single stem varieties. I still will probably consecutively plant these, but probably won't have to do that as often. And this Desert Sun in particular is supposed to have really strong stems, which are good for cutting, and they won't be like flopping all into my borders, which is good for me because my borders are pretty narrow. I don't have a lot of room for plants that are just kind of going to fall all over the place. So I'm hoping that these will stay nice and upright for me. They are a beautiful bicolor bloom that reaches about 5 to 7 inches across. They have almost a reddish color in the center, and as you move out, it almost turns like a golden yellow color. So it almost gives them an orangey appearance, I feel like, from the pictures that I've seen. So we'll see how they do. Hopefully I can grow them successfully. And they are also pollenless. So when you bring them in for cutting, they won't be dropping their pollen all over the place, which is nice. And these get about 70 to 80 inches tall. So I'm planning to put them at the back of my border in my obelisk bed. They will be kind of the tallest plant. I'm really trying to fill out that blank white wall that I have against my house with some tall things that again won't be too floppy, but will really give some nice height and some color right there. So hopefully these are a success and they just bring a lot of color and beauty to that wall that I have right there. The final sunflower that I bought is this Sera Sunflower. This is again from Johnny's, and it is more of a classic yellow sunflower with that dark brown center on it. It is another branching sunflower, and it's supposed to again have really thick sturdy stems, so it's really good for cutting. It will stay nice and upright without staking. Hopefully it won't be flopping all over, which is again my hope. The blooms can reach 5 to 6 inches across. The website says that it could have as many as 20 to 25 stems per plant, which means it hopefully will be a prolific bloomer for me and just really filling out that area nicely with lots of yellow blooms. So it's gonna be probably another mid-size plant. It can reach 50 to 70 inches tall, and it's not completely pollinous, but it has minimal pollen. So hopefully it won't be too messy when I bring it in for bouquets. And hopefully it gives me enough flowers that I can feel comfortable bringing it in for bouquets. I don't always love to cut my flowers in my garden. I like to look at them in the garden, but I'm hoping to do more cutting this year of my flowers. Moving away from sunflowers and onto something different, I also purchased this tall blue planet ageratum from Johnny's Seeds. I have grown ageratum that I've bought at the greenhouse, the shorter variety. I forget the name of it, might be something Hawaii or something like that. But I grew some this past year over in one of my side yards by my Sweet Talker viburnum, and it just did so well for me all season. It filled in so nicely. The rabbits completely left it alone. It attracted pollinators, just added this really pretty pop of color. They get these very pretty like bluish purpley flowers. And this particular ageratum, the tall blue planet, is a taller variety. So I am planning to mix it in with some of my zinnias, probably over by my Tonto crepe myrtle, where I plan to put some of the Oklahoma zinnias that I was showing you. I think that it would look really pretty mixed in with the zinnias along with in the bouquet. So that is my idea for the ageratum. I am excited because it is rabbit resistant, so I think that it should be easy to grow for me from seed, fingers crossed. And again, it just makes a really great filler for bouquets. It attracts lots of pollinators, just a beautiful flower. So hopefully all goes well with trying to grow that this year. Next is the Magic Fountains Mid Blue White Delphinium, again from Johnny's Seeds. I tried to grow some delphinium last year and it might work out. I don't know. Again, it kept getting eaten off, but I might see it sprout up this year. It was over in one of my side yards. It was I think it was the Pacific Giant mixed delphinium, if that sounds correct. And it was a mixed color delphinium with pinks and blues and whites. And I was regretting, kind of regretting putting that in. I don't like everything to be mixed colors. I like a lot of mixed colors, but some things I just like a single color planted in mass. And the delphinium is one of those things that I really wanted to do planted in mass somewhere. And I just love that classic blue color. I debated on this classic blue or the lighter sky blue, or there was a really pretty one called Guardian Lavender that was also a really pretty mix of blue and lavender. But for this year, I just decided to settle on this classic blue mix delphinium. I am excited to see how that goes for me. It's supposedly a perennial in zones 3 to 7. I'm 7B now, so we'll see how well it comes back for me each year. And it's a little bit shorter than the Pacific Giants mix, if I'm saying that correctly. It's 36 to 48 inches tall, and it's supposed to have really sturdy stems. So it shouldn't need staking, and it should withstand any strong winds that come through. So I'm I'm looking forward to seeing how these do for me this year. Next is something that I have never grown before, but I've always wanted to try. This is Strawberry Fields Gomphrena from Baker Creek Seeds. I have heard so many good things about Gomphrena, just being a prolific bloomer and working beautifully for bouquets and for drying. I loved doing my dried flower Christmas tree this year. So I was just thinking about flowers that would be really good for drying to add to my Christmas tree for next year. Every year I just want to try something different and experiment. So I saw these, I guess I stumbled across them on the Baker Creek website. I don't think I saw them anywhere else before, but they actually look like strawberries. They look like they have little seeds in them even. And I saw some of the pictures online. They blended so beautifully with all of the different colors in the garden. So these are supposed to stay a little bit tidier than some Gomphrena. They might reach about 2.5 feet tall, which is a little bit shorter than some Gomphrena can get. That makes them look a little bit mangy maybe in the garden. And they are supposed to bloom all summer long and hold their color really well in a vase. And for drying, it's supposed to be resistant to heat and drought, and just generally stay looking tidy in the garden all summer. So we will see how this goes. I don't know exactly where I'm gonna put them, but I will find some room for them. The last seeds that I bought in January were these Cosmos Apricota. These are from Baker Creek. I think that these are so beautiful. Last year I did not have success growing my Cosmos because they got eaten off, and I grew a really tall variety. I think it was just the seashell mix maybe, and they completely were flattened by one of the big storms that we had come through. So unfortunately I did not get to see any Cosmos bloom. I am hoping that this year I can get these beautiful Cosmos to bloom. I think I'm gonna put them in my main flower border and kind of intersperse them back in there. These are very unique, almost bicolor Cosmos. They have some pink tones and some like apricot-y tones. And I've read that they can almost look translucent because of the color changes and the petals. So I'm excited to see how these look when they're actually blooming, hopefully. They stay a little bit on the shorter side. They can reach about 3.5 feet tall. Well, I almost said inches. And then the blooms can reach 3 inches across. So they should stand out pretty well in my garden. And of course they attract a lot of pollinators, as many of these varieties that I've talked about do. So hopefully these are also a success in my garden this year. And then some of the other things that I have already had from past years are some sweet peas. Again, kind of like the nasturtium, I haven't had much success growing sweet peas. They either get eaten off on me or they just don't grow very well wherever I'm trying to grow them. So I might try them again. I have the Mammoth Choice Mix from Johnny's from last year, so I may give them another go, maybe try them with some winter sowing and see how they do. I have some foxglove that I had started last year that I put in my long border. I want to see how they do and how they look. I think that they are the very tall variety, and the colors might be a bit more muted than what I am looking for. I'm looking for some more vibrant colored foxglove. So I'm going to just wait and see how they do and see if I want to start any more of those seeds or if I want to look into some other colors that are a little bit more vibrant and bright. And then I have some purple hyacinth bean vine that always starts to grow but gets eaten off again no matter what I do. So I think that I'm gonna give that another go this year in different places, see if I can get that to grow. So I think that is it for now. I know that I will stumble across more seeds in the stores probably and pick up a few packets here and there. I'm also going to get started with some winter sowing. I've never done that before, so it'll be a first time for me. I would love to know if you guys have experience with that, if you do that every year or have done it in the past. I would love to know what you're planning to grow in your gardens for 2024. If there's any new seeds that you've ordered or purchased already, please let me know. I would love to hear. I hope that you guys have a great week, and I will see you again very soon. All right, bye.